Progress. Okay, wonderful. So, thank you very much for joining me live. There is a bonus for joining me live, which I will get to towards the end of the end of the session. So, well done for receiving that. I'm going to ask you to mute yourself so that there's no noises that will go on in the background for this recording. But as I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is going to be a fast-moving session. There's a lot to learn. And if you take the advice I'm giving you and use the tips, then you will find that your vocabulary will improve very, very quickly and very, very effectively without wasting a lot of time on pages and pages of vocabulary. So let's start. Welcome to this masterclass. This is the fastest and most effective way to improve your English vocabulary. Have you ever sat in a meeting knowing exactly what you want to say, but struggling to find the right words? Or avoided speaking up because you were afraid that your English wasn't good enough? You were afraid of being negatively judged, afraid that people wouldn't appreciate your expertise. If that sounds familiar, please don't worry, you're not alone. Today, I'm going to help you fix that. So this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover how to memorize new words faster, proven techniques to use those words naturally in conversation, why improving your vocabulary boosts your confidence, visibility, and career opportunities. So, grab a notebook and let's get going. So, why vocabulary matters for your career? So, let's start with why vocabulary is so important, not just for your English, but for your career. If you're not contributing in meetings or you're struggling to explain your ideas clearly, or you're just not confident enough to open your mouth and speak, then this leads to low visibility. What does that mean? It means that people don't notice your work. They don't understand your expertise. They don't appreciate your ideas. Because how can they? You're not telling them. You're not exposing them. So here's the truth. The people who get promoted are the ones with higher visibility. Managers will trust these people because they've seen what they can do. They've heard them share ideas confidently. If you are excellent at what you do, but you don't... Could you please mute yourselves? Thank you. So if you sit back and hope that your work will speak for itself, you're missing out. Speaking up using clear, powerful language is the key to make sure that your skills are recognized. So let's take an example. Two employees, employee A and employee B. Employee A is an expert in their field. They work really hard, they come up with lots of new ideas, but they never speak out. They never share their ideas. Employee B works hard and shares their ideas. Even if the ideas aren't necessarily the best in the room, they share them regularly. Who's more likely to get promoted? Employee B. Because they're visible, they're confident, they're memorable. The boss, when he needs to promote someone, won't promote someone who isn't visible. The boss doesn't know how good you are if you're not sharing your expertise. Improving your vocabulary is so powerful because it helps you to communicate clearly, confidently, in a way that gets you noticed and therefore increases your visibility. The fastest and most effective way You can see by the title, that's what this is all about. To improve your English vocabulary involves a combination of focused strategies, consistent practice, and context-based learning. So the three things: focused strategies, consistent practice, and context-based learning. Okay? So confidence plus communication equals visibility. So when you know what you want to say, you're able to say it in a confident and clear manner. This is visibility. By sitting quietly in a corner, this is making yourself invisible. And I'm sure that a lot of people, that's what they're trying to do, because they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to be misunderstood. They don't want to be asked a question that they're not sure how to respond to because of the language skills. So if you're trying to make yourself invisible, and I can completely understand where you are, but the way to get promoted and to get recognized is to become visible. So we need to improve your communication and your confidence. Okay, so let's start. Promotions. Promotions come from demonstrating your confidence and demonstrating your ability. So let's talk actual strategies. First, I want you to stop getting lists of words and phrases and just learning them. And this is what many people do. They say to me, please, can I have vocabulary? Yes, you can have as much vocabulary as you want. But by me giving you lists and lists of vocabulary, this is kind of irrelevant. It's wasting your time. And if these are words and phrases you are not going to use, they will go, we have a great phrase, going in one ear and out of the other ear, because you don't use them. So, first strategy, focus on high impact words. Words that you use a lot, words you hear a lot, relevant to your industry. Focus on the words that matter most to you. So in your job, there are probably words and phrases that you use every day. Maybe it's words and phrases you hear every day and you're not confident enough to use those words and phrases. You're halfway there. When you hear them and you understand them, you're halfway to using them. So well done. You might hear words like project deadlines, budget allocation, client feedback. Learn these words deeply. These words are useful in every situation. Learn how to pronounce them. Practice saying them. Get confident with them. Learn exactly what they mean and how to use them naturally. Learn vocabulary that's relevant to you, your life, your work, your goals. I have a new client, and what they would really like to do is to be able to discuss different matters that are going on in the world today. That's what they want to be able to discuss, so that they can exchange really interesting opinions with other people that they work with that are growing the relationship. So effectively small talk, but on a higher level. That's what they want to do. So that's where we're starting. So we choose one subject of their choice. We go through the words that they will find, words that are relevant to that particular subject. We learn them and then we use them. Okay? So by me giving you a list of words and phrases, that's fantastic. But if you are in sales, you will have a slightly different list of words and phrases. If you are an interior designer, again, a different set of words and phrases. A doctor, a dentist, a lawyer. You work in an office, you work in a factory. All of these areas of industry and different kinds of jobs will have different high impact words, different words and phrases that you will find most useful in your current position or in the position that you're looking for next. So this is technique number 1. Start a vocabulary journal. Now it's so easy now. Everyone has a phone. Just open up a notes app. Maybe a Google Sheet is what I recommend, because Google Sheets, you can access them anywhere. Start writing down the words that you hear. Start writing down the words you see relevant to your business. Anything you see in an email, in a blog post, in an article, anything relevant to you that you see that is useful for you. Useful. That is the key word. High frequency for you. And even if you both work in the same office, likely as not, you will have different high impact words. The best thing you can do is to start a vocabulary journal today. Now, people come to me and they say, well, I'm going to learn 5 new words a day. No, I would recommend 1 new word a day, making sure that you know that word inside and out. You know everything about it, you know how to use it, and you feel comfortable creating dialogue around those words. 1 a day, 2 a day. Make sure you know those words. And on your list, if there's any words you don't find useful, cross them off, delete them, because you don't want to clutter your mind up trying to learn information that's not useful for you. You might find some words that you think, okay, maybe it will be useful in my new job, and put those down to the bottom under new job. And when you're completely familiar with the ones that you need right now, you can start to work on those. So, for example, the word initiative. So find the meaning and then make a sentence. Taking the initiative on this project will show my leadership skills. If you start doing this with every word you know, or every word you're learning, or every word that you're not familiar with, you will immediately explode your vocabulary. You have to learn what's relevant to you and your work. This is how you're going to improve faster. Now we're going to move on to proven technique number 2. So proven technique number 1 was high frequency words. Number 2, memorize words with spaced repetition. It's a proven fact that if you repeat or review words often, the more you repeat them, the less often you have to revise them in order to keep them in your brain. So don't try and cram in lots of new words. Space them out. So if you have a new word, pivot, that's a new word for today. Revise that word tomorrow, and then maybe leave it 2 days, and then once a week. So when you start revising it on a regular basis, you can actually revise it less and less frequently, and the word will stay in your mind. The most important thing is that you're actually learning the words that you need on a day-to-day basis. So you should be revising these words very frequently, because you should be using them in your day-to-day work. So use flashcards. Write the word on one side and the definition on the other. Add a sentence that makes the word meaningful for you, and put these into your Google Sheet or notes, or however you want to do it. Something that's accessible, that you can actually review easily. For me, I'm learning Maltese. I have a Google Sheet, so when I'm in the queue in the bank, if ever I'm waiting for anything, for bad traffic or anything like that, I just open up the Google Sheet and just cast my eye over a few things. Waiting for the kids outside of school, waiting for a meeting, waiting for a call. All of those waitings you can use to actually review, memorize the words. Because you do have to learn the words. Find the high frequency words and learn them. Make sure you know them. For example, the word collaborate, which means to work together. We need to collaborate with the marketing team on this campaign. If you can make this into something that you do very regularly, you will find it easier and easier and easier, because you will become more and more eloquent as each day goes by. If you do 2 words a day, that's nearly 700 words in a year. Imagine 700 additional words on your current vocabulary. And they will all be work-based words. Words that you'll be using and listening to and reinforcing your learning every single day. You can learn with word associations, mnemonics. Connect words to images, sounds, personal experiences. There's so many different ways you can do this. Create mental pictures, funny word associations, anything that helps you. You can use word roots, prefixes, suffixes. So, for example, bio means life, biology, biography, biodiversity. These are all the study of life in different ways. Use Quizlet and other quiz type situations that will help you with the words and phrases to remember them. Nothing like giving yourself a quick quiz. This shows you what words you remember, and more importantly, you can give yourself a pat on the back for those you know, and the words you don't know, you can then go back and revise them. Number 3, practice. Practice using the words in conversations. Practice makes perfect is a fantastic phrase, but I actually disagree with that. When it comes to language learning, practice makes better. So every time you open your mouth and you say the words out loud, you will become more confident in what you're saying. And for many of you, confidence in your ability is the one thing that's holding you back. It's not grammar. And in a lot of cases, it's not vocabulary. It's confidence that you're using the right words in the right situations. Now, that comes with practice and correction. If you go and practice on your own, be careful, because there's no one around to correct you. And if you keep learning the wrong thing, then you will continue to learn the wrong thing. So finding someone to support you is a fantastic way of exploding your confidence and your abilities, knowing that you know you're saying the right words in the right situation. So practice each new word in 3 different sentences and review these sentences. Create new ones. So you have the word, you have the meaning. So strategic. We need a strategic plan for the next quarter. Her strategic thinking helped the team succeed. Being strategic about my time will help me meet my deadlines. Every time you look at that word strategic, come up with a different sentence. The more you use it, speaking to other people, even in your own emails and your own, maybe a journal or something that you have to practice your writing, the more you use it, the easier it is. But writing it down is fine. Speaking it is better, because you want to be able to communicate out loud. You want to be able to communicate. There's no point in going to a meeting and writing down all of your amazing ideas. You need to say them out loud. And the more you speak, the easier it gets. The more you speak, the more confident you become. So, learn the words in context. They're easier to remember. If you learn a phrase with the word in the middle, if you're struggling to remember a certain word or phrase, just put it into a sentence and learn it that way. However works for you, this is the key. Whatever works for you. Expose yourself to words that are relevant. So read books, watch videos, write down the new words along with the sentence that they appear, and then practice creating your own sentences, either in writing or verbally. Okay. Proven step number 4, active listening. When it comes to improving your vocabulary, active listening is a game changer. When you're in meetings, you're watching videos, pay attention to the words people use and how they use them. If you hear a new word or a new phrase, just make a quiet note of it and then look it up and use it yourself. If you hear words and phrases again and again, they're obviously relevant to you and your career, be it in small talk or be it as part of a meeting or maybe a sales meeting or a presentation. If you're hearing the same words and phrases, then this is relevant to you. You need to be learning it. Okay, so when you look at pivot, we need to pivot our strategy. What does pivot mean? Just write it down. Even if you spell it wrongly, if you write down the sentence, you can normally make out the meaning afterwards. It means to change direction. Practice using it. We pivoted our approach to focus on customer feedback. Listening to how words are used in context helps you to learn natural phrasing and pronunciation. And this is where things like movies, TED Talks, audiobooks, podcasts are really invaluable. Pay attention to the collocations, the words that go together. Make a decision, not do a decision. Active listening turns every conversation, every meeting, every presentation, every movie, every TED Talk into a learning opportunity. So when you go into those meetings, you think, oh God, another meeting, how boring. Turn it into a learning opportunity. Make it a challenge. I'm going to come away with 5 new words and phrases today. And then you have to find them, listen for them, and make a note of them. Vocabulary sticks. What I mean by that is it stays in your brain when you actively use it. Even if you use it in speaking or writing, it sticks in your brain. But when you want to use it in speaking, saying it out loud helps it stick more, because if you see it written down, it might sound different in your mind than it does when it comes out. So, commit to using a new word in 3 new sentences every day. Use the words in conversations, emails, anywhere that you're exposed to vocabulary, anywhere that's relevant to you. If you're watching Grey's Anatomy and you're not a doctor or a nurse, then obviously active listening might be less important. You might just want to enjoy the process. But when you are in every meeting, every presentation, every negotiation based around the office, and you come across words and phrases that you don't know, make a note of them. Because you're not expected to know everything, but improving means that you will just take a note of the stuff you don't know and then you learn it. It's the magic. And immerse yourself in as much English as you can. Set your phones, your apps, devices onto English. Read the news. Make sure that you follow social media accounts in English. Engage in conversations with native or fluent speakers whenever possible. One of the best things you can do is actually to listen to an audiobook and read it at the same time. This means you can see the words and hear them, as long as the audiobook reads the exact book. It doesn't try and make it a little more concise. So the visibility formula. Confidence and clear communication leads to visibility. When you improve your vocabulary, you become more confident in meetings and conversations. That confidence makes you more visible to your managers, your peers, your clients, everyone that's important. And that visibility is what leads to promotions, opportunities, and successes. So don't sit back and say, I'm going to let my work speak for myself, because your work doesn't speak for itself. You have to speak up for it. Use your words to share your ideas, show your expertise, and prove your value. So to recap, the fastest and most effective way to improve your English vocabulary involves a combination. Focus strategies, focusing on high impact words, making sure that you memorize words regularly and in a way that is easy for you to learn. Because you do have to sit down and learn these words. They don't just magically land themselves in your brain. You have to find out what they mean. You have to repeat them. You have to remember them. You don't necessarily have to sit and study for hours at a time. 1 word a day, 2 words a day, brilliant. Consistent practice, creating sentences, practicing these sentences with others, and context-based learning, words and phrases that are useful for you. Okay. The best way to improve your vocabulary in your own industry is to receive feedback about that vocabulary, because a native speaker telling you what is relevant these days, what words and phrases are not used, is invaluable. I have a mission to create a thriving community of 100 professionals to help them with confidence, gain support, and expand their networks. So if you are serious about improving your business English, if you want to sit in a meeting and feel completely comfortable in sharing your expertise, if you want to make those presentations, if you want to nail those job interviews, then join us. There's going to be weekly training about all different subjects to do with networking, presentations, all of the business strategy that you need. And there's going to be Q&A sessions every week as well, so that you can come in and ask whatever questions you want. This enables you to learn and practice and learn and practice to increase your visibility. Okay, I'm going to press stop on the recording.